There is a reason you and I, we survived. There is a reason you and I, we still alive.
Today is a walk to remember 24 years ago when the young and the old were visited by death. This afternoon, we are gathered to remember them and to tell their story for them.
We are gathered today to remember, to unite, and to renew. I like these words because they are about challenge as well as remembrance. They are about the future as well as about the past, tomorrow as well as yesterday. To remember is important, binds us together, creates identity.
Julia, as I'm sure most of you in the room will know, has been conducting work in Rwanda for many years, working with local partners and stakeholders to better understand the terrible events of 1994 and their lasting impact. In her work, she is both contributing to the development of an academic field of inquiry, as well as working with and sharing with the local community, both in the United Kingdom and in Rwanda. In this exhibition, Julia illuminates the experiences of survivors working at these memorials, and in the artistic visual form of the exhibition, she explores their attempts to remake their world and to be closer to their loved ones. I would like to thank Julia for bringing this work to Oxford, and for all of you for coming here to bear witness, to think, to talk, to listen, and to feel. In doing this, we make our commitment once again to our shared humanity.
To change the world, there is a reason. You and I, we survived. There is a reason. You and I, we still alive.
Memory to the survivors is it can come in two forms, because what we have left, as I said, we can easily either hold on to it as our in a treasure box, or we can speak it up for the people to know. It's two things. There are people who feel sympathy, and there are people who feel like this is beyond imagination. They can't really take it. So for the memory, for the people to go back and keep reflecting and keep understanding is very important, because it's the only way to prevent any event like a genocide to happen anywhere in the world. You must know what happened before you can prevent it in the future.
I think, for better or for worse, we Rwandans are relational beings. We are never individuals. I am Richard Benda, the son of the brother of the father of. Ancestry, genealogy, family affiliations, these things are very important to us, and they dictate how individuals socialize, and unfortunately they also dictate how things like transmissibility and transfer of responsibility and blame happens.
We also need to understand how these events came to pass, and memory needs to play a role in building that truth and that trust. But there needs to be a real honesty about the origins of how this violence comes about in the first place. And we need to be looking at ourselves in the mirror and asking ourselves a question. When we see We look at what's happened over Windrush and we can, yes, of course, look at the Home Office and the policies there and be aghast at what happened. But what would we do if we are asked by our boss, because there's a directive where we have to simply prove people's citizenship? These are difficult questions because when it comes down to it, often this is the mundane events that go on and lead to bigger atrocities.
Kwibuka 24. How does it feel to be alive? In loving memory of the life we've lost, the darkest days 24 years ago, but even now, our memories are still alive. We miss our loved ones endlessly. Any story that will be written about me will be full of sadness, will be stained with tears, tainted with shame and hopelessness. I definitely don't want to pass on this pain to my children. I want to protect them, but it's important that they know that genocide isn't only a set event in history, but it's part of our daily lives. Being Rwandan means we are survivors. We are sons and daughters of survivors. We are mothers and fathers of survivors. As survivors of 1994 genocide against Tutsi, we will never set any limits and borders to our achievements because we want to make a difference. I grew up in the time when Rwanda wasn't a safe place to be, the time when hatred was being planted, discrimination and insulting words were being spoken over and over again. I turned 12 years old the day that my mother was killed in genocide. I'm leaving her legacy, taking care of those she left behind, because the greatest legacy is the lives that are being touched by me. My eyes saw what no child should see. My ears heard what no child should hear. Imagine a pit latrine that hadn't been in use for a long time because it was full. This was my hiding place for about 3 weeks. For 10 years, I didn't want to listen or talk about what happened. It was too much to handle as a child who was taking care of other children trying to survive. To be alive is a gift, which means to be grateful. Being able to share stories as a survivor is making sure our beloved ones are never forgotten. We are taking responsibility, thriving for our legacy, living in our country of our own. Our legacy is every life that is being touched by the choices that we make.
But we have particularly to tackle prejudice wherever it's found, to speak out, and to strive for better understanding and reconciliation between people previously divided. So Oxford is proud to be hosting this event today.
Being Rwandan comes with a responsibility to comfort survivors, to teach the world about our history, and to clearly explain what led to the dark days of 1994. We are in a good place, but it will take all of us to continue joining hands to protect what has been achieved and to continue healing the hearts of our brothers and sisters. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. And so I thank you, therefore, for this important contribution to fighting genocide denial. Thank you, Dr. Julia, for feeding this exhibition with materials and packaging your research to educate minds about the genocide against the Tutsi.
Turachariho, turachariho.